What's good, everyone? Welcome to today's trade recap of the day. Today is January 16th, Friday, 2026. I'm going to be going over today's price action. The one trade I ended up taking today, I made $23,000 on the day. I could have made a lot more if I did my risk correctly. This was a banger 3.7R trade, and it absolutely, bro, this shit dumped for literally 7RR. So and it's such a textbook setup. I'm really happy with how I played this. If I would have held this, dude, I would have had, oh my gosh, something insane. But I took my piece of the pie. I'm happy with it. I'm going to show you guys the trade I took. First things first, let's get into the P&L. Bada bing, bada boom. 23 bandos, $800 across all of my accounts. Let's freaking go. And we're back, baby. We're back on the month. All right, so this was a 30-second entry. And let's just start off first with the bias. Let's get straight into it. No need to wait. All right, let's get into it. Bada bing, bada boom. Coming into 9:30 open, I was leaning more bullish, honestly. Reasoning for that was because we did have London lows trade into this hourly for rally gap right here. So as you can see, if we just take a look over here at London lows, we did trade it into this hourly gap. We started getting that displacement up from here, right? We did have an hourly inversion as well. We had this 15-minute intermediate high. We had previous day high. Of course, we had these data highs that we left from Tuesday, right? So I was leaning more bullish. Now, this was the thing, right? I could have seen shorts is what I was telling myself just because we left these relative equal lows here at the sell side. This to me didn't really make much sense when we did this, when we had this big move on Thursday. And we just left relative equal lows with this hourly intermediate low, right? You usually want to see these lows get swept, and you don't want to see relative equal lows, right? So relative equal lows to me scream bearish, right? Especially if we're going to start displacing through this. So this was my condition, was London lows here. This is a obvious key level within this range. And if we are going to be bullish, what should we do? We should hit this low and start getting displacement back up. And then, potential longs could look good to all these targets since we inverted the hourly, whatever. If we start displacing through London lows, and we get, massive displacement, and we disrespect the key level that's resting within equilibrium, where are we most likely going to go? Well, to this sell side liquidity that's resting right here, right? So that was my overall bias coming into the morning, and let's play out what just happened, right? So we did end up trading up at open. We did have a 930 Judas going higher. So if we just play open here, we did have an open high. Trading up, we did hit this 15-minute intermediate high. There was shorts, and we left like relative equal lows at London. I know probably some people shorted. There was some good trend line as well, but the inversion and just the lack of delivery on this trade was just really bad, honestly. We had this for rally gap here, which was like technically the entry if you wanted to play it more discretionary. The reason this just wasn't good was, first off, just how many candles it took to invert. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It took way too long. When you see 1 minute gaps like this holding and prices delivering off a higher time frame gap, that is just not a good sign in your bias, and like it's probably wrong, and it's probably gonna be a stop hunt, but whatever. This is just obviously not like the best short, and also I was leaning more bullish at the time, so I didn't want to be shorting. Okay, that's really it. And it did end up working. There was also like a 5-minute gap here. Somewhere here, there's like a little 5 minutes, so it was a little sus shorting. But anyways, we got that displacement, and from here I was like, okay, let's see, are we gonna soup this and trade lower? No, we absolutely disrespect this key level, start blasting through this, right? And at this point I'm like, yep, I'm leaning a lot more bearish here, a lot more bearish. And now what am I looking at? Well, the main things I'm looking at, I'm gonna take a look at ES. What is ES doing? Well, if we look at what ES was doing at the time at 10 a.m., what did 10 a.m. do? 10 a.m. ended up generating liquidity. ES was so close to this sell side liquidity here. So close. It is such an obvious pool of sell side. If you can, everyone sees this, right? Everyone sees this liquidity pool, and we are so close to it. ES is a really, really obvious setup for ES, and it should take it, right? Heavily displacing towards a low. NQ also heavily displacing towards this sell side liquidity, right, that I had marked out from this morning. Now all I need to see is price to retrace into a 5-minute for value gap and then get my inversion. That's my model, right? It's as simple as that, right? And this time I didn't need to see price retrace any deeper than this, just because we didn't have, we didn't take out massive draws. We weren't in a heavy discount as well. This was a pretty premium gap, right? So it wasn't like I needed to see more of a retrace than this. Also, ES was just so freaking close to this blatant low right here. And this was like really like the main objective of the day, I would say. So as long as that's not taken, I don't need to see huge retraces. And this was still just a beautiful retrace that we got in the 5 minute. We ended up trading up, and then also we got such a nice SMT. So we ended up trading up. We ended up hitting a 5 minute gap. And there was no 30-second entry here, right? So I was waiting for a 30-second gap, and we start trading up, right? And then I see this forming, and I'm like, oh my God, if we have an SMT with this 1007 high here, and we did, 1007 high, boom. This is a great sign in a reversal. SMTs inside of key levels. My key level here happened to be a 5 minute gap. We got that SMT. We got that internal soup, right? And what do we have? We have a 3 minute unfilled gap. So my thought process going into the trade, and you guys can watch the live trade execution that I posted on my Reels and my TikTok, but my thought process going into this trade was, okay, I'm going to take this 30-second short. I'll go break even at this unfilled 3 minute. If the bias is going to be truly bearish, what should price do with this 3 minute gap? Completely disrespect it and run through it. If we're going to be bullish and maybe we want to get a bigger retrace and my bias is wrong, then where should price go? It should just hit this gap. I'll be break even by that point, and then we'll start trading up. But either way, I'm going to be break even, right? So this is just a great spot, not only for buyers in the market, but also, if we are going to be bearish, it's going to be ran through. So that's why I really, really like this trade. It's just the mech model, right? And it was towards an unfilled 3 minute, which is a little bit more discretionary. I say to target unfilled 5 minutes, right? But you can play it sometimes like this with 3 minutes if the bias is extremely, extremely obvious, right? So the reason I was saying at the beginning also I just ended up skewing my risk is because technically, I was risking what, bro? Like, I think I risked maybe $250. So I think I risked 0.25% on this trade. Right? Because let me just get out of this really quick. I had a 42-point stop loss or tick stop loss. Yeah, I was risking $200, bro. This is this is just an insane banger. But yeah, absolutely textbook setup here. And we ended up getting the 30-second inverse. I went then break even once we hit this 3 minute low. So boom, I went break even after we got the inverse right there. We closed below this gap. Boom, went break even. We got displacement. And then I hit my TP. I'm just targeting the low hanging fruit. That's it. I don't, especially on, the last day of or OPEX day, sorry. Price usually is a lot choppier. I didn't love this price action. And also, I'm trading on a couple accounts that right now have intraday trailing drawdowns. So I need to be pretty strict about like TPs and stuff. But overall, again, I'm targeting low hanging fruit. I'm targeting places that I know have a high probability of getting hit. And that's it. Price did end up running. And honestly, I could care less. I got my piece of the pie for the day. And I'm happy that my bias actually played out. And I'm happy I stuck alongside that. And, main takeaways that I want you guys to get from these Q&A, or sorry, not the Q&As, but from these trade recaps that I'm doing is you can see how I'm not always like super married to my bias. That's the main thing. Like I came into today honestly leaning a lot more bullish, but I'm always giving myself conditions, because if you are just married to a bias, you will miss out on a lot of setups, and you will also take a lot of stupid trades, right? You have to be reacting to what the market is giving you, especially at 9:30 open, right? This is when New York's volatility is kicking in. So it's going to show you clear displacement. It's going to show you clearly where the market is going for, right? So when I see a move happen like this, and I see ES just clearly going for this sell side liquidity here, and we leave it by a freaking tick, we have a 10 a.m. open high. Okay, where are we most likely going to go? This sell side, right? It's like a no-brainer. I'm not going to continue being bullish just because I want to be bullish. Like, no, my key levels are getting ran through. We had an internal sweep. This is just a very obvious short coming into the day, right? So, again, that was the play. And that was really it. I'm happy, really, really happy with how I played this week. I didn't trade yesterday. I was getting my YouTube video out. Also, there was just, it was literally the same. We can go over yesterday for a second here. It was literally the same exact thing as the day before. So if you watch the trade recap the day before, which was Tuesday's trade recap, it was the same reason why I faded. Or did I not post a trade recap on Tuesday? Or I posted on the Instagram story, right? Where I was saying I was waiting for like this 4-hour gap to get touched. If we look at Wednesday here, right? Or sorry, Thursday. Wednesday's 4-hour gap to get touched. That's what I was talking about. If we look at Thursday here, right, we had just a massive 4-hour gap right here. Sorry, this unfilled 1-hour gap. So when I'm coming into the day, especially after such a large move like this, where we took out major draws on liquidity and we had such a freaking 500-point move since, you know, Wednesday, and then overnight ended up having a 300-point move, what are we most likely going to do? Have a fatter retrace, right? So I'm expecting, you know, this 4-hour gap to get hit. And we had a 4-hour gap. We had this 1-hour relative equal lows as well. So I was just waiting for that, really. Then 1045 did it, right? But like, I am not trading this high into a premium. I would rather see this. I would honestly rather short this, but I didn't get any short opportunities. But yeah, I didn't love longs. And that was it. I'm not going to go too much into Thursday, but it was just a no trade day. But yeah, that's really it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this recap. Hopefully you guys learned something from this. And I'm going to call it here. Have a good rest of your weekend. Also, if you guys are brand new to trading, or even you're a more intermediate trader, I just dropped a 4-hour long free course for you guys to watch. I did just include timestamps, so you guys can scroll through the timestamps if you're a little bit more intermediate trader. You want to just skip straight to like the model and like, you know, the sauce on liquidity part 2 and advanced concepts. You can definitely do that. And yeah, also, but if you're a complete beginner, just watch the full entire thing. It is literally all you need to become profitable, bro. I'm not even joking. I gave away my whole entire brain. All of the knowledge I had from trading is in that 4-hour long course. It took me like a week and a half to record. So please watch it. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. And if you guys want to get some accounts, Apex, I think it still has an 80% off sale right now, code PB. Trade Syncer, if you want to start copy trading all your accounts, code PB as well. All the links in the description for that. Alpha Futures, also Tradeify. Check out all of those firms. That's what I use personally to get 28 accounts. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up with this video right here, guys. Have a good rest of your Friday. And I'll see you guys probably Monday if I take a trade. See you guys later. Peace out.